Hey ladies, thanks for joining me today. So girls, today I want to talk about a new type of notebook, and it is called a Zibaldone. And if you're anything like me, then I'm going to say that you might have a small, well, let's be honest, you might have a large obsession with notebooks just like me. Because when I see a blank notebook, oh my goodness, my mind just immediately goes to all the possibilities of what could go inside that notebook. Because like many of us in the paper community, we like to gather things. We buy a new notebook and then we grab a postcard from the store that we get it from. We save a memento from a weekend getaway trip, or maybe we just write down a recipe that was handed down from our grandmother. And when I bundle all these elements into one notebook, I called it a Commonplace Book. Well, today I have to confess that this notebook that I adore, this little notebook that up until very recently I always referred to as a commonplace notebook, oh gosh, it's not a commonplace notebook at all. So today I'm going to look back into history and explain how I realized that, oh my gosh, I've been living a lie. And if you, like me, your notebook is a beautiful sprawl of messy words, stickers, ephemera, washi tape, clippings, well, oh my goodness, girls, you don't have a commonplace book either. Ladies, you have a Zibaldone. So today we're going to deep dive into notebook history to settle the ultimate old school notebook debate. We're exploring the strict academic world of the Renaissance commonplace book and contrasting it with the wonderfully chaotic, highly visual world of the 14th century Italian Zibaldone. By the end of this video, you are going to know exactly which tradition fits your creative soul, how to start one, and how to use all the extra stickers and washi tape and paper scraps you've been hoarding in your craft drawers. So let's get down to my desk. I'll be right back. Okay, ladies, so let's start with the one most paper lovers talk about, and that is the Commonplace Book. This tradition goes back centuries. The name comes from the Latin loci communes, which literally translates to general themes or commonplaces. And now the golden rule here is simple. You make out a key, and then you only record outside knowledge. It's where you copy down gorgeous paragraphs from a novel that you just finished, or a line from a poem or a song that brought tears to your eyes. But the Commonplace Book has one golden rule that does surprise a lot of people. It's you rarely, if ever, write your own original thoughts in it. Now, girls, honestly, one of the reasons that I love the concept of a Commonplace Book is that I love the idea that I don't have to come up with my own original writing. I do a lot of that in my own journaling. In this book, I just copied down words off a concept I'm interested in, a theme. And gals, if you've been watching my videos, then you know how much I love anything with a good theme. And while I could stick to the idea of copying down words, here's where I get into a pickle. Because in a true commonplace book, the decoration is supposed to be minimal. Maybe a strip of muted washi tape to divide your subjects, or a functional color-coded sticker to highlight a key theme. That's it. But I think we can tell by just these pages that I like to do more. I like to be extra. And in a true commonplace book, there is a strict structure that comes with it. You don't just write chronologically from page 1 to page 100, because if you do that, finding information later is impossible. Instead, you make a key. You make a key or you make a index. And then before you even start writing, you designate sections of your notebook for specific themes. And then when you find a quote or, a recipe or anything like that, you turn to your pre-labeled section and you drop it there. Because visually, a traditional commonplace book is very text-focused. Decoration is highly functional. And goodness, you know me, that's not going to work for me. Now, let's talk about the book that I actually do have here. What I thought was a commonplace book, but now I realize is not, the absolute underdog of the stationery world, and the one that probably captures the heart of most paper lovers today, and that is the Zibaldone, or Zibaldone if we're talking plural. Now, this beautiful tradition started in the 14th century with Venetian and Florentine merchants. Its literal translation tells you everything you need to know. It means a heap of things. or quite literally a hodgepodge. A Zibaldone is not a tidy library index. It is an intellectual and visual scrapbook. It is the natural home for your creative play. It is the place where your thoughts and your life are held together by beautiful aesthetics. Now, was anybody hurt because I called this a commonplace book? And well, I'm going to say it actually is more of a Zibaldone. No, of course not. I just thought it might be interesting for me to come on and talk about the differences. So now that I'm done with that book, I get to start a fresh one. I get to start a fresh one, and I like the standard traveler's notebook size. And goodness gracious, girls, check this out. I have this notebook that I used for something else. I used for something else when I was doing a project, but girls, it is only halfway used. So because it is only halfway used, I'm going to use the back half as my Zibaldone. Because while a Zibaldone is a heap of things, it is the ultimate playground for those of us who love paper crafting and stickers and washi tape. While a commonplace book demands clean lines and pristine margins, a Zibaldone begs to be decorated, layered, and texturized. So I'm just going to pick out some paper and, well, go to town decorating my new Zibaldone book. So think about the paper ephemera we've collected all of our lives. Old postage stamps from letters, the beautiful paper packaging from a specialty soap, a handwritten note from a friend, or even labels from a favorite bottle of wine. And at Zibaldone, these aren't clutter, they are art. So when you sit down with your journal, you can use washi tape, not just to look pretty, but as a functional hinge to tape down a large brochure or a recipe card so that it flips open, giving you more room to write underneath. You can use botanical or vintage stickers to set a mood on the page before even writing a single word. In a Zibaldone, laying a torn piece of a vintage book page with a strip of gold washi tape creates a gorgeous visual anchor for your handwriting. And ladies, here's a little tip for those of you who are worried about your notebook getting too bulky from all these layers. Look for journals with high quality paper, thin paper like Tomo River paper, or look into traveler's notebooks like I have, where you can fill a small, thin booklet one at a time and then slip them into a leather cover. This keeps your notebook from exploding while still allowing you to paste in your memories to your heart's content. This is the kind of notebook that speaks to my heart. Because unlike the rigid, disciplined, commonplace book, a Zibaldone has absolutely zero rules, meaning it actually thrives on chaos. It is a chronological mind splatter. It doesn't care about indexes or neat categories. It cares about capturing the full, messy textures of being alive. The most famous historical example of this is the 19th century Italian poet Giacomo Leopardi. Over his lifetime, he filled a single Zibaldone with over 4,500 pages of written thoughts, philosophical essays, linguistic notes, and deeply personal diary fragments. Because yeah, girls, this one we can get personal. We can get personal and write our personal things in. Because according to my understanding, and yes, girls, this is just my understanding, that's why I had to come back here and talk about it, a Zibaldone is not only the best of both worlds, but the best of all worlds. All worlds because everything and anything can go inside this notebook. Unlike the commonplace book, a Zibaldone thrives on the beautiful chaos of daily living, making it the perfect home for all of your paper ephemera. Because girls, on the exact same page, you might find a profound original thought you had over the morning coffee. And then maybe you write down a recipe for a perfect lemon tart. Or you find that perfect little sticker that you've been just waiting for the perfect place to stick it down. Maybe you went on an amazing weekend getaway and you just want a place to put down your receipts of all the fun stuff that you picked up. This is the joy of the Zibaldone. It is a free for all. Part junk journal, part memory keeper, and then of course you can always put down your thoughts. You can always put down your thoughts because girls, we have a lot of them. If you want to do a raw journal entry about how much your life has shifted in your 50s and beyond, write it in your Zibaldone. If like me, you're a menopausal woman and your body's going crazy and goodness, you just want to vent, write it in your Zibaldone. Maybe you're preparing for your last child to go off to college here in the next month, and you're kind of worried like, how is the dynamic going to be when it's just you and your husband at home together all the time? Well, girls, you could write about it in your Zibaldone because this notebook, well, it's chronological, it's messy, and it's entirely private. This isn't just a database of words. No, it is a safe harbor where I dump my entire mind, soul, and goodness, some creative scraps onto a page. At the end of the day, does it really matter if I call it a commonplace book or a Zibaldone? Not really. What's most important is that you're collecting words and memories to keep your brain active and strong. What's most important is that you're making it uniquely you. So now the question is, how do you choose between these two ancient traditions? And goodness, it really comes down to the season of life that you're in and what your brain needs. I'm 54 years old, so I'm a woman of a certain age. And gosh, I have spent decades of organizing my life, making sure that everybody else is taken care of, managing a busy household. And honestly, between you and me, at the end of the day, when I open a notebook, I want it to serve me, not a set of rigid rules. Now, if you are in a season where you are reading deeply, studying new subjects, and you want to curate a tidy, elegant legacy of pure wisdom and knowledge that you can pass down to maybe your children or your grandchildren, then you will completely fall in love with the intellectual discipline of the Commonplace Book. However, if you're like me and you are in that season where you want complete creative freedom, sensory play with paper, self-discovery, and absolute permission to be delightfully messy, then you want a Zibaldone, because it gives you permission to let your thoughts, your memories, your art just bounce off each other without the pressure of making it perfect. It tells you that your daily hodgepodge of a life is beautiful purely because it is a hodgepodge. So I want to hear from you in the comments down below. Let me know. Are you a structured librarian filtering the world's best ideas? Or are you a chaotic Italian soul plastering memories into a beautiful notebook? So if you've enjoyed this little deep dive into notebook history, I'd love it if you'd like and subscribe so that I'm easy to find next time. But most importantly, go grab yourself a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, maybe a Diet Coke, whatever your drink of choice is, and go play with some paper and craft supplies today. I mean, gosh, girls, you've earned that time for yourself. Thanks for joining me today. Until next time, from one paper girlie to another,